This is a podcast by the Straits Times. All right, let's cue the music. Fanfares, please. After a long absence, welcome back to the Double Feature Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Roberts, and this week I'm joined by Kok YuFeng. Hello.
Hi.
Now, bear in mind, we're going to be talking about It Chapter 2, and there are going to be spoilers. Probably spoilers for It as well, but that kind of goes with the territory. Some movie news.
Yeah.
Things to look forward to. It's about a month to go before Joker comes out. The reviews that came out the weekend have been glowing.
I can imagine.
Huge amount of people saying, oh, this is a game changer. Comic book movies will never be the same again.
Right.
This is the greatest film ever. Now, we saw a trailer before we went to see it last night.
Yes.
The word is Joaquin Phoenix deserves Oscar nomination for this.
He does.
I mean, it looks to be going that way. It's one of those things that you think, oh, yeah, this is going to be an amazing performance. Quite possibly, he's going to be the first person to... No, Joker may be the first character to have two separate people win an Oscar for portraying him.
If he wins. But yes.
Possibly.
I think possibly. It sounds like it.
Unless there's some other historical... Abraham Lincoln, maybe? I don't know.
I don't think so, man.
I don't know. This is just off the top of my head. But with all the glowing reviews, and let's bear in mind that things like Batman v Superman and Justice League got hugely glowing reviews at early screenings as well.
Right.
Some people may have to walk things back a bit when it actually comes out. Now, at the same time, people are also saying that this film, because it's of a put-upon man who then changes, the worm turns, he gets violent. Of course, he turns into Joker. It may influence people of a certain disposition to take up arms or indeed start dancing in very shabby, big white pants. There has been a few reviews of genuine concern that this could spark violence.
Perhaps that's a good sign for the movie. Because if that movie has that much sway...
It's hype. It's big hype. It's getting big hype.
Exactly,
To be honest, it's working because I really can't wait to see what happens with this.
I reserve my reservations because most early reviews aren't very accurate, you know. Like, remember Suspiria? The remake?
Oh, yeah.
It had glowing reviews.
Funnily enough,
at the start.
I was reminded of Suspiria after watching It Chapter 2. So we went to see It Chapter 2, and just before we went to see the film, of course, we paid our money. This was not one of those freebie things.
No.
This was with the public.
Yeah.
The mumbling, constantly chatting for some god-awful reason. Public.
Right.
Now, we had about half an hour of adverts.
I think so,
Apparently, they're showing YouTube pre-roll ads.
Yeah, it's like a mobile game.
For mobile games.
I was quite shocked. I was like, yeah, this is like YouTube. It's weird.
Well, aside from the YouTube ads,
and
a couple of trailers, one of which is for Midway.
Yeah.
The Battle of Midway, a depiction of a key battle of the World War II, and it seems to be done with all the reverence and respect that Michael Bay gave Pearl Harbor. It's like a video game. It's some kind of nonsense.
Well, it is Roland Emmerich, so... You know,
the government says this. Well, the government is wrong, and I'm going to prove them with my Star Wars style planes that can defy physics, and a cast list that just says B-movie all the way. Patrick Wilson, Ed Skrein,
Aaron Eckhart,
Nick
and
Jonas, a Jonas brother.
Yeah.
Aside from that, there were also some local ads that I think. How can I say it? I think these local ads really need to remember how boring they can be. You remember that one, that Pa, the best band speech
thing? Oh,
yes.
yes.
When you first saw it, it was like, oh, okay, I can see where this is going, but yeah, fair enough. But it's that long that the second time you see it is, oh, Lord, this is dragging.
Indeed.
And you're just waiting for it to get to the punchline. There's a new ad which plays on filial...
piety.
So you see this young man who appears to be good enough to be a model, apparently has an office job, but and his parents keep on asking him for money for stuff.
Yeah.
And he keeps on giving the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
So his parents say, oh, the fridge is broken. Yeah. Let's buy a new one.
Yeah.
And he says,
let's fix it instead.
Actually, let's try fixing it. But every time his dad's there giving him the old stink eye.
Yeah.
Oh, what kind of son are you? And then his mum said, oh, my mum's phone is broken. And he says, hey, Mum, use this instead.
Yeah.
And his dad goes, is that your old phone? Oh, for shame that you should use the old phone. Which is ridiculous because it's Singapore. So his old phone is probably just a model down from the very current version. You go elsewhere, it'll be fine. It's only for the time being. So, yeah, a lot of this seems to be like trying to guilt the son, oh, Mom's birthday is held in a hawker centre, as though that's a bad thing to happen. He gets a cake out and stuff like that, but his dad's still going, giving the old, why you, what kind of son are you? You're no son of mine.
I think
and it goes on for hours.
Well, minutes, I guess.
Apparently it's only minutes, because I checked up on it on YouTube today, and it's only about 4 minutes long, but it felt like hours.
It's just different value system, I would say. Because there are a lot of families who are still probably the same dynamics.
It feels very long and it's quite dull. So please, if you're doing these adverts for the cinema, just remember, people have to watch them. Try and, spark some life into them.
Agreed with that, yeah.
There seems to be a lot of heartfelt, or, heartfelt in air quotes, ads that, try and pull on the heartstrings, but just last way too long.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's chapter 2.
I didn't really love the first film that much.
I thought the first one was rather good.
I thought it was alright.
It was coasting on kind of a Stranger Things vibe.
Yeah.
Because Stranger Things had come out before.
Yeah.
Stranger Things itself playing heavily on the Stephen King. I thought it was really well done. It had a great cast, a great young cast.
Yes.
Very watchable, great actors. And aside from an ending that was a bit too... all felt a bit bloodless.
Yeah.
Not enough horror in it, but it felt okay. I thought, fine. It's a good film. I was kind of looking forward to this. Well, Bill Skarsgård makes a good Pennywise.
He does.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Without aping the Tim Curry version from
Exactly.
the early 90s, I think 1990 version of when they did
the TV series.
The TV series, yeah. So this chapter 2. I basically, from my view, what went wrong? There are some good things in it. I thought the casting was brilliant.
Yeah.
Really good cast.
Yeah.
Bill Hader being
amazing, honestly.
A really good version of the older Richie, right?
Yeah.
I think there's bits where very clearly he's been allowed to add his own jokes.
Yes.
Because he did not feel as stilted as the rest of the language.
Yeah.
I thought James McAvoy was all right, if a bit bland.
Yeah, I thought he was... Actually, I think besides the two Bills, so Bill Skarsgård and Bill Hader, right? Everyone else just seemed... They were just trying to retread the same characteristics as the kids. So basically, they didn't bring anything much to the table besides what was already presented in the first film.
Well, I think an issue is that it pretty much is just a retread of the first film.
It is, yeah.
That they all get split up. They all have their individual encounters with Pennywise.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the thing in this, apparently, is that it's 27 years later. Now, I can't even remember if they've said it in the film, but apparently it comes around every 27 years.
Yes.
And this is usually kind of meted out or highlighted by, well, people get a bit more angrier.
Yeah.
There's a bit more violence in the town. So the young kids that apparently thought they defeated him last time by beating him with sticks, I think.
Yes.
Because that's how you beat an intergalactic entity that's crash-landed on the planet Earth. You just get some sticks and beat it up.
Yeah.
Most of them left Derry.
Yes.
It doesn't say at what point they left Derry, and that's very vague. They all left. Somehow, after they left, only Mike, the butcher boy, the butcher's errands, Mike stayed. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, no one because he was supposed to go to Florida, right? But
yeah,
no one says why he stayed. So.
That's even better remembered than mine.
Yeah.
But he stayed there as a kind of watchdog for the thing. Everyone else left. I don't know what point in their lives they left.
Yeah,
but they left. And somehow the magic spell has been snapped, and they don't even remember that they came from Derry.
Yeah.
Somehow. But things happen, someone gets beaten up, Pennywise is back, and then Mike gives him a call. Somehow he's got their mobile phone numbers. How does that work?
I don't know.
I mean, Richie, the Bill Hader character, is a famous big-time comedian now.
Yeah.
If he doesn't already know his number, how does he get his number?
I don't know.
Have you tried to find Trevor Noah's number?
Nope.
Just out of the blue? No. That plot hole aside, they all come back. They kind of start to recollect that they know each other. Everything becomes less foggy. But at the same time, Pennywise starts attacking them.
Yes.
I wouldn't say attacking them.
Scaring
Pennywise
them.
starts annoying them,
Yeah, I guess.
interfering with their
Yeah.
lives. Anyway, Mike seems to have done a lot of research into this, and he's got a plot to try and kill Pennywise once and for all.
Yes.
Can he do it? Well, whether he can or he can't, it takes hours to get through.
I think that's the problem, right? So, I think this film is so focused on the lore of what Pennywise is that it kind of forgets that it's a horror movie in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, the scares just aren't there
Yeah.
for me. There's jump scares. There's a lot of...
Very minimal, though,
A lot
actually.
of this film relies just on jump scares. Like, ugh!
No, but they're all telegraphed. So you don't
Well,
even
okay.
feel that.
If you
that's
take
so scary.
the Jessica Chastain moment, she goes back to her old apartment. She is greeted by an old lady who says, "Oh, your father died a long time ago. Come in, have a cup of tea." And she has a cup of tea, and it's all kind of sinister. And there's some scarier moments where the old lady just stops, and then you see her creeping past in the nude for some reason. I don't know why. Then, whoa, she jumps out, and she's big, and she's scary, and she looks like Andy Muschietti is going to be directing Attack on Titan, so it looked like a preview for that.
Yes.
Looked like he's just getting some test footage in for that. But yeah, it's all jump scared, but they're all pointless jump scares to the point where Pennywise is no longer a scary thing that
Yes.
wages on fear. It's just an annoyance. And everything that he jumps out, it just becomes, after a while, it's a bit, oh, Pennywise, you scared me there. And okay. And then he goes, oh, I'm scary. Yeah, okay, thanks, Pennywise. I'll see you later, shall I? Or, he starts doing this. He feels like a needy friend who's just like hanging around them for no reason. Like, he starts telling Bill Hader, "Oh, why won't you play with me?" And it's just needy, and it's pointless, and there's no scares in it.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, I think him as Pennywise the clown, actually pretty creepy, right?
Yeah, if it's used right.
Yeah, so even the scene with Jessica Chastain when she turns around, he's putting on the makeup, and then he scratches his face.
Yes.
That was pretty creepy to me.
That kind of thing where you see someone scar themselves deliberately.
Yeah.
That kind of level of mild body horror.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that was
creepy.
good, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's when he becomes these weird, like, big creatures that it gets too much. It feels
Well,
like...
one of them just seems ridiculous. So Bill Hader walks into the town square where they've got a Paul Bunyan statue, and then he looks around and the Paul Bunyan statue's gone, and then there's a giant Paul Bunyan chasing him, and it's like okay, right,
Yeah.
that just looks stupid. One of the really good bits of the first film,
Yes.
and it wasn't heavily signposted, and it wasn't heavily signaled. If you saw it, you saw it, and when you did see it, you're like, did I see it? Which is not a great description, but I know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean.
It's like, did I just see that?
Yeah.
And he's in the library, and the librarian is stood out of focus in the background, but you can see her position, her stance changes. She becomes more hunched, and you can see a very wide smile start to play across her face, and that's it. She's just in the background, heavily out of focus, but you can just see the smile for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then it changes, and that is creepier than most of this. So when the big creatures turn up, and you're just like, really?
Yeah. And that's the problem also, because I think Pennywise in this film does not have there's no stakes, right?
No.
Because when they encounter Pennywise on a one-on-one basis,
Yeah.
nothing happens to them.
No.
They just get really scared, run back to the inn, and
yeah.
then they regroup again. So I'm like, what exactly is Pennywise supposed to do in this case?
What he's trying to scare them with is stuff that you won't be scared with anymore.
Yeah, as in, I can understand the motive behind that. Is like, I think Pennywise is trying to play with their childhood, like, traumas or whatever. So for example, with Richie, I think the message here is that he might have been interested in Eddie.
Yeah,
I
mean, this is, I'm going to say it's the biggest spoiler, but at the end, he's seen going to the bridge where a lot of kind of initials are carved in, and he recarves R plus E.
Yeah.
That the implication being that for all their bickering, actually, so they were actually bickering like an old married couple.
Yeah.
because they had a relationship in the past.
And I guess so. The point of the movie is that because Richie was bullied by the older kids as being being a gay person, and then I think for example with Bev, it was a relationship with her father that became a central part of that of her fears. So I think the point of the film that Pennywise is trying to play on their childhood fears, right, or their childhood traumas. But I think the problem with that is because in the first film, that was kind of already dealt with. So it's kind of weird.
Why are you spending 2.5 hours doing the same thing as the original shorter film?
Exactly, yeah.
So I think it's very vague as well.
Yeah.
But also, what are Pennywise's powers? He seems unable to do any harm to these people.
Yeah.
Apart from, and what things are real and what things are manifested to be real. So Eddie goes to the pharmacist.
Yes.
And he has a nightmare about what's downstairs, and you're not sure, is that him having a nightmare now or a flashback to his nightmare of the past? Anyway, he has a nightmare and some kind of zombie thing with a big long tongue for some reason, because the zombie wants to stick his tongue down his throat. But then he gets covered in this black goo.
Yeah.
But the black goo's real.
Yeah.
So where's the black goo from?
Don't know.
And then the bully, Henry, right?
Yeah, Bowers.
Henry Bowers. He escapes from the mental institution. He gets given his knife again.
Yeah.
But he gets given it by the corpse of his brother.
Yeah.
But the corpse is real or not real?
Don't know.
I don't know what's manifesting here.
Yeah. Even with the kills, right? So, Pennywise does have some murders in this film.
There's a little bit of...
It's unclear why they are murdered, because are they afraid of Pennywise? Are they just vulnerable?
I thought he fed on fear.
Exactly.
Now, the original kill in the first one is little Georgie.
Yes.
Who's very scared, and he gets in and I'll reach him for the thing, and then he bites his arm off and then drags him away.
Yeah.
Which is shocking, Whoa. That's a good bit of horror. But this one, I don't know. But then there's a little girl under the bleachers.
Yeah.
Who's not afraid of him at all.
Clearly not, yeah.
Yeah. Because he says, I can get rid of that little birthmark for you. And she said, okay, fine. And she's very confident. The multiple teeth thing comes out and he bites her on the head. But why?
Exactly.
And why can't you just do that to
all the kids, right? That's exactly my point. Like, it makes no sense. Yeah, so one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the one in the Hall of Mirrors, right?
Right.
So I thought that was pretty well done. Like
that's where James McAvoy runs in to try and rescue this boy who now
lives in his old house.
Or at least he thinks lives in his old house.
Yes.
I'm not sure if this boy is part of...
like Pennywise's
because this boy has been kind of around the gang or bumping into the gang. I mean, it's not a small town, admittedly.
Yeah.
But he's been bumping into the gang. So Bill Hader screams at him for no reason. And then James McAvoy screams at this poor kid's just being screamed at by this old gang of kids.
Yeah.
And he's got that look of, is he a version of Pennywise? Because he's got a look of Bill Skarsgard about him.
Yeah.
The eyes and the shape of his face and stuff. So he goes into this Hall of Mirrors to try and rescue him. Yeah. And then Pennywise is on
yeah, that was quite good. I thought very good tension and everything. And then at the end when, Pennywise catches up to them and then Pennywise eats the boy.
Apparently.
And then it just cuts to a reflection of McAvoy looking in the mirror. So so is it real? Is the boy dead? I don't know. So it's kind of weird.
So there's no consequences.
Exactly.
And then, essentially, what you could do is just watch the first one again, but just imagine all the cast older. Because they go back to the same house again, and they go down the same cellar, and they go down the same thing, and they go down the hole, and they find a little spiky place, and look, Pennywise he's turned into a big spider. A big, unconvincing spider.
Yeah. And the way they beat him this time, it's kind
You're a clown.
Even worse than the previous film.
Yeah.
The reason why I didn't like the first film.
At least sticks hurt.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't like the first film was because the ending was just so anticlimactic, right? Because he's some big, scary monster that has influence over a whole town.
Mm.
He can murder people. He does weird stuff. And then at the end, he's beaten by this bunch of kids hitting him with sticks.
Yeah.
So never mind, right? I mean, at least because it's kind of a kids movie, so it's fine.
I figured that was because they lost their fear of it.
Yeah, or they're standing up to a bully or standing up to someone that's bigger, so that's fine. But in this movie, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Just that they're older, and they just shout at him saying he's a clown, and how he's not great, and he's a mummy,
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then he just shrivels into this little thing.
Yeah.
So
it's like, so the message is basically stand up to bullies.
Yeah.
Call the bullies names. Don't let them show them fear, and they will shrink down into nothing, and then you can squeeze their heart into a non-existence. Squeeze their heart until it pops. Don't do that. Actually, kids, that would be murder. Anyway, I mean, part of it is that they're all sent off on this little quest to find, I mean, in Harry Potter terms, I guess Horcruxes of some sort.
Yes.
An article of the past that has power for them.
Yeah.
And they kind of put it into this leather waste bin, this Native American leather waste bin that apparently has insignia on it.
Yeah.
Now, is Pennywise committing suicide? Because he provides them all, doesn't
true,
he?
Yeah.
He provides them all
right.
with these artifacts.
Yeah.
Is he deliberately trying to...
I don't know.
He gives Bill the paper boat. He would not be able to reach it otherwise.
Yeah.
He reaches into the thing, and the little creatures give him the boat.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I have no idea.
No, it's...
There are too many mechanics to this. So that's why I said, I think the film really just tries so hard to get into the lore of it and Pennywise.
Yeah.
That it completely forgets what it's supposed to do, which is to scare people.
They also spend a good time with... Stephen King has a cameo.
Oh, he does, yeah.
As the bike shot, but kind of too long.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the guy wrote the thing. He's one of the greatest authors ever, but they spent a bit long with it. And this kind of whole nod that because James McAvoy's character is essentially the Stephen King of the group.
Yeah.
And he keeps on you can't write a proper ending, can you? Hey.
Yeah, but I would say there's some redeeming qualities to the film. So I personally think Bill Hader was really good in this.
Yeah.
He basically steals every scene.
Well, you are a lot more forgiving to the film than I am. I think it's pretty, well, like I say, bored. I think it's incredibly boring.
Right. I agree the length is quite bad. I think 2 hours could have been
If not,
sufficient.
just stick another half hour on the original.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think the acting was pretty good from Bill Hader, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. I thought some of the scenes were pretty tight. And actually some of the humor was pretty decent, I think. Especially from Hader. So I thought overall it was not completely irredeemable, but I think when you step out of the theater and you think about it, it gets worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for this, it's a completely useless chapter 2.
Agreed.
There's no point. They don't seem to have defeated it any more than they did the first time around.
Yes.
I mean, the small reveal of Richie and Eddie, that's about it. That's an extra bit that brings something to it.
And there's no growth. None of the characters actually grow in this film. They just go back to their old state.
Yeah.
And then they defeat it, and then they go on their new lives. And there's no character growth in any of these characters.
Any good bits, yeah. And in terms of horror, just repeating jump scares ad nauseum. I mean, everything is just, all the scares are just based on a jump scare, and then, oh, fair enough. It's a real shame.
It is.
It's a real shame.
It is.
Otherwise, would you go see this again?
No.
No.
No, not for 2.5 hours.
I don't think I'd even
It was
try it on the
already
plane.
a drag the first time, so I think second time.
You're very mean to the first one. You should be mean to this one. This one deserves more meanness.
Oh wait, so you mean when I watch the first one again?
No. Would you watch this one again?
No, I wouldn't watch this one again because this was a drag the first time watching it.
Anyway, Joker's coming out soon.
And Midsummer, which is
Midsummer, yeah,
which could be interesting.
Which is probably a lot scarier.
I
Just
hope so.
the trailer alone sets you on edge. Well, that is where we'll leave it this time. YuFeng, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you to you at home for listening. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or indeed Spotify, do like, rate, and review us. Every little helps. And until another double feature next time, goodbye.
That was an SPH podcast. Find us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and streaming on Google Home. Do send your feedback to podcast@sph.com.sg. You can also check out more podcasts on various topics at straitstimes.com and bt.sg.